Hello, and welcome to the Women's Health Leadership Trust Awards celebration. I am Julie Decker, Trust Board Member and Co-Chair of the Trust Forum. For our guests who may not be familiar with our organization, the Women's Health Leadership Trust, or Trust for short, was formed 41 years ago by several amazing women seeking to build a trusted network of colleagues to help navigate their challenges as women and leaders in the healthcare industry. I think we can agree our founders were onto something because these same needs exist today as they did back in 1979. While these tenets hold true to our legacy, we recognize our culture and society have changed. So too must we evolve to meet the needs of today's women in healthcare to carry forward the integrity of our mission with vibrancy for the future. Trust members share a collective commitment to advance all women in healthcare professions through influence, insights, and development, while contributing to the betterment of healthcare in our communities. It is with this commitment to women leaders that we are here today to celebrate and honor 18 outstanding women who are transforming healthcare in our communities. On behalf of the Women's Health Leadership Trust, we are honored to share this award celebration with all of you. And during our time together, we will also get a sneak peek into the forum, our signature annual event on October 27th from keynote speaker Julie Gilbert. But before we get started, let's go through a few Zoom logistics. You will have the opportunity to send questions for Julie Gilbert through Zoom's chat function. You can send those at any time during our program today. You may also use the chat function to join in the conversation virtually with your comments, thoughts, and congratulations along the way. The Trust thrives because of the continued engagement of its members, connections, and community. This includes the ongoing support of generous sponsors who have made such events as the Forum and today's award celebration possible. To get things started, we would like to thank all of our committed sponsors who joined us in our pivot to a virtual program format this year. These organizations are in good company and rose to the occasion to support women in healthcare during these trying times. We also give special thanks and recognition in ascending order to our key sponsors for today's award celebration and the forum, which include capstone sponsors, Health Partners, and Prime Therapeutics, cornerstone sponsors, Davis and Children's Minnesota, keystone sponsors, mHealth Fairview, Blue Cross Blue Shield Minnesota, United Health Group, United Healthcare, and Optum. And of course, our keynote sponsor, St. Catherine University. As professionals in the healthcare industry, we are accustomed to change. However, as women and as leaders in healthcare, we've all deeply felt the impacts of this past year personally and professionally. Our trust members work together every day so we can all rise through challenges such as these. Together, we have more than 450 members who bring their leadership, experience, and passion to the table every day to empower themselves, mentor others, and support those we serve. This is powerful, as together we are stronger and together we rise. And that's true of the forum as well. We needed to pivot our traditional program, which has had between 800 and 900 in-person attendees. While there's no denying we missed the opportunity to meet in person, we remain steadfast in our commitment to celebrate women in healthcare. We have reimagined our extraordinary program for a virtual format, not only retaining the themes of inspiration and empowerment for women in healthcare, but also enhancing it. That's why we added today's very special award celebration, to provide an additional recognition for our 18 awardees as we prepare for the forum on October 27th. Together we rise. This theme rings truer than ever before. As we focus on resiliency and overcoming challenges, we also focus on the power to hold not only transformation of ourselves, but to change the health of our communities. It is with this emphasis on community health and aligned with our theme, Together We Rise, that we are pleased to announce a Trust Forum charity drive, benefiting 2 charities supporting women in our local communities. Second Harvest Heartland, and the Domestic Abuse Project. It's estimated that each season, 20 billion pounds of surplus produce is wasted in the United States. Last year, Second Harvest Heartland sourced more than 7 million pounds of 20 different types of produce from Minnesota growers. Unfortunately, fresh produce is still out of reach for as many as 1 in 8 hungry Minnesotans because of cost or access. Not only does fresh produce support a balanced diet, but it also plays an important role in the prevention, treatment, and recovery of many chronic health conditions. With your support, Second Harvest Heartland will continue with their work resourcing food and increasing the amount of produce available to help improve health outcomes for 1 in 8 Minnesotans and 1 in 5 Minnesota children experiencing food insecurity. The Domestic Abuse Project, or DAP, has been building communities free from violence for over 40 years. It provides holistic healing for every member of families impacted by domestic violence. DAP provides counseling, education, case management, and crisis intervention to give families the tools to transform their lives. DAP also collaborates with communities and educates public policymakers to strengthen the response to domestic violence. With your support, DAP will not only be able to continue critical work to provide pathways to safety and health for those impacted, but they will also be able to meet the current crisis, both the rise in need and the call to embrace innovative means to partner in community healing. To kickstart the charity drive, the Trust Board has pledged nearly $9,000, and we ask you to rise up in support of Second Harvest Heartland and the Domestic Abuse Project as well. Area women and families need your help now more than ever. Information on each organization and how to donate is available on the Trust website, and you will receive an email in the coming days with links to make it even easier to donate. Together, as a group, we can rise above food insecurity and domestic violence by supporting these two amazing organizations, making a difference in our local communities. Before we recognize our award recipients, I would like to take a moment to recognize our talented committee members. These women have worked diligently on the Forum Planning Committee to make today's event a success. This also includes my fellow co-chair and board member, Amy Duane. This amazing committee worked for more than a year, pivoting several times, first when we paused the forum this past spring, and again as we adjusted to a virtual environment. I would also like to thank our Trust Board of Directors. These women represent all facets of the healthcare industry and share a vision to create healthier communities by recognizing women's leadership potential. I am honored to serve alongside these fabulous women. Please join me in recognizing the commitment of our board and the Forum Planning Committee to our community of women leaders. It is with great joy we lift up our award recipients. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mary Walsh, Trust Board member and champion of our awards process, who will introduce our categories and recognize the award recipients.
Thank you, Julie. Now it's time for the 2020 Trust Forum Awards. Before we introduce the 2020 recipients, there's a very important group that deserves our thanks and recognition, our talented and dedicated judges. This distinguished group generously gave their time to carefully evaluate the nominations and make difficult choices from a slate of very impressive contenders. Our 2020 judges are Frank Jaskulke, Vice President of Intelligence at Medical Alley Association, Jana Johnson, Staff Vice President of Operations at Anthem, Jen Meister, President of Methodist Hospital and Vice President of Health Partners Home Care and Hospice, Teresa Pesch, President of the Hennepin Healthcare Foundation, and Dr. Mark Steffen, Vice President and Chief Medical Officer at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota. Thank you, judges, for your time, careful consideration, and support of women leaders in healthcare. Now to the awards. Today, we are thrilled to recognize 18 women leaders in healthcare who were nominated by their peers and are paving the way in the following 5 areas. Volunteer and community engagement. This award honors the unsung hero who donates her time to support community health initiatives. The recipient of this award are Cindy Bayer, Alina Health, and Susan Schuster, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota. Next, our Leadership Award celebrates women who are viewed by their team, peers, superiors, and business partners as exceptional leaders who exhibit qualities such as imagination, creativity, resourcefulness, encouragement, and a focus on achieving results. The Leadership Award recipients are Kristen Edsel, Optum; Melissa Fors, Hazelton Betty Ford Foundation; Mary Johnson, M Health Fairview; and Deborah Rudquist, Amory Hospital and Clinic. And now we recognize the women who are leading technological advances in healthcare that improve health outcomes, patient care, and/or business impact. The Innovation and Technology Award recipients are Caitlin Kelly, Health Catalyst; Lisa Lavin, Care; Patty Post, Checkable Medical; and Carissa Rollins, United Healthcare. The Trust Health and Wellbeing Award honors women who are advancing the health and well-being of individuals, organizations, and communities. The award recipients in this category are Dr. Joko Farah, People Center Clinics and Services; Gail Tooley, Spinning Babies; Fong Yu, School of Nursing, University of Minnesota; and Dr. Diana Cutts, Hennepin Healthcare. Finally, our Collaboration and Partnership Award honors women who are building partnerships with an organization or are forging collaborative external relationships that address a common goal where both parties benefit. The Collaboration and Partnerships Award recipients are Rebecca Egbert, the Mother Love; Sian Faulkner, the Masonic Cancer Center at the University of Minnesota; Rachel Lesh, Centricare; and Teddy Potter, School of Nursing, University of Minnesota. Although we are unable to be in the room together to hear our collective applause, I hope each and every awardee knows how much we celebrate you. One of the special elements of a Reimagine Forum event is our time together today, which is just focused around the amazing accomplishments of our award winners. We are very happy to share the following 7-minute video that recognizes each woman and provides a snapshot of her award-winning nomination. Wow, what an amazing video. Thank you so much. On behalf of the Women's Health Leadership Trust, I would like to once again congratulate all of this year's award recipients. These remarkable women are truly transforming healthcare and helping other women rise through their collective excellence. Let's take another moment to recognize our remarkable award winners. For in-depth information on each of these award-winning women, please visit the Trust website at whltrust.org. Next, Amy Duane, Trust Board Member and Forum Co-Chair, will introduce Julie Gilbert, who will give us a sneak peek at her Forum keynote on October 27th.
Great. Thank you, Mary, and congratulations again to all of our awardees. It's so well deserved. Today's celebration will continue on October 27th during our main forum program, when we will also recognize Andrea Walsh, this year's 21st Century Pinnacle Leader Awardee, and hear from our inspirational keynote renowned speaker, Julie Gilbert, who is also a previous Trust Award recipient. As the co-chair of the Trust Forum this year, I can feel now more than ever how important it is to honor and celebrate the tremendous successes of women. The Trust is a place where we celebrate women blazing trails, inspiring others, and sacrificing selflessly, where we give voice to women who may feel overlooked, ignored, or misunderstood, where women tackle challenges head on and advance forward and do so imperfectly, where together we mold and shape the future of healthcare for ourselves as individuals and as leaders, and helping each other along the way. It is with this passion and purpose that I am thrilled to introduce a kindred spirit, Julie Gilbert. Today, she will provide a glimpse into her keynote on resiliency, overcoming challenges, and the power we all hold to transform ourselves, as well as the health of our communities in the face of adversity. As we hear from Julie, please send questions through the chat function, and we'll try to address several of these questions during our allotted time. Among being an advocate for women, Julie is a senior advisor in the Minneapolis office of McKinsey & Company. She has extensive experience driving strategy and transformations across many different industries, including healthcare. Her recent experiences include serving as the founder, CEO, and chair of the board for a global mobile healthcare technology company, building consumer-focused businesses in digital and retail formats, as a Fortune 50 Senior Vice President in charge of growth and innovation, leading several enterprise digital business transformations with strong direct-to-consumer business models and cultural inclusion expansions for Fortune 500 organizations and startups. Julie's leadership has been profiled by Harvard Business Review, Business Week, Time Magazine, and many other periodicals, along with 27 books. She is an Aspen Institute Henry Crown Fellow and has been a frequent TED keynote speaker. Julie is an active CPA and holds an MBA and Bachelor of Science in Accounting from the University of Minnesota. She is currently a trustee for the University of Minnesota and St. Thomas University School of Business boards. She is also a board member on the Asbury Communities and Child Neurology Healthcare organizations. We are so lucky to have her with us today and as our forum keynote on October 27th. Please join me in welcoming Julie Gilbert.
Thank you, Amy, and a big welcome and congratulations to all of the award winners. I know if you're like me, it was hard to sit and watch that video without getting tears in your eyes and actually being able to hold up my my composure to actually talk to you a little bit today about where we're headed in the next 14 days as we get ready to kick off this fantastic event. So once again, a big welcome to everyone here today, the award winners and also guests joining this celebration. I want to also thank St. Catherine's University for their sponsorship of the keynote, and also to all the other great sponsors in holding strong and steady through the transition we've all been through in the last, I guess, 8 months with the pandemic. Also, I've had the absolute privilege, and it has been a privilege and an honor to work with the board and the committee members of the trust, going on almost a year now from when we first started conversations, and being able to participate and collaborate with them as they made this what seemed to be a seamless transition to a virtual event, and creating such energy and spirit and not losing any of the enthusiasm or the support for all women of the trust. It's been wonderful. We are excited, I know I am, and looking very much forward to the event in 14 days, most of all because they pinned the theme, Together We All Rise, long before COVID, long before anything that we've been through. And I think there could not be a more pivotal, powerful, or important theme given where we all sit today. So let's talk about that. 2020, what a year we've walked through. A key piece that I know, and I know you all know more than ever, is the criticality of each other and being able to support each other and be there for each other through thick and thin, and perhaps more than ever today, being able to reach out and give support and energy and warmth and sometimes prayer to women in our communities that really need that help. It's critical. Reaching out through texts, Zooms, good energy, happy hours, whatever it is, we all need to continue to do that. And I think yesterday being World Mental Health Day, we need to take a pause on that and also just realize that everyone needs that support. So let's talk a little bit about a paradox. And this paradox is one I wish we would solve. Honestly, the paradox that we all share as women is that we dominate the spend in healthcare. Every single out of a dollar, 80 to 90 cents of that dollar is what we put down as women to care for our families, to care for ourselves, and to really care for our community. The second thing that's an odd one as we add up on the basket here is that we are in the process of shifting to ourselves. $30 trillion in wealth and assets are going to be in the hands of us, women leaders. Today, in the United States, we control 1/3 of the household financial assets, which is $10 trillion. The third piece of this puzzle that is also astonishing is that women in healthcare today make up 65% of the workforce. So if you think about 100 people, almost 70 out of 100 are women at the front lines and at the physician level, making things happen, as well as the senior suite that you all occupy in healthcare. But the piece of this that makes absolutely no sense to me and will make no sense to you either is that of the CEO positions in healthcare, in spite of everything I just told you, we only occupy 13%. And that, frankly, in 2020 needs to change. In the 6th year of collaborating together, recent research from McKinsey and the Lean In's organization, Women on Workplace Report for 2020 has produced some very concerning data. And it doesn't look like we're going to make up this gap that I just mentioned unless we really mobilize together. For every 100 men promoted, only 85 women receive the promotion. And an even larger gap exists amongst women of color, with 58 Black women and 71 Latinas. The report is based on data and insights from 317 companies employing more than 12 million people, and survey responses from 40,000 individual employees. In addition, this report showed that 1 in 4 of us is considering downshifting our careers or leaving the workforce altogether. And for those of us that, and I know every single person on this call is dealing with all of these issues or some combination of tending to kids in virtual or hybrid schooling, parents or relatives in need of care, our own personal health challenges, domestic partner issues, or even domestic violence issues. Even before COVID existed, according to a recent United Nations report on women, domestic violence was already one of the greatest human rights violations. In the past 12 months, 243 women and girls across the world have been subjected to sexual and physical violence. This is why we, as the Trust, are supporting the Domestic Abuse Project. It's unfortunately a situation that has impacted all too many of us, and I would love to be at the forefront of eliminating this from what we face as women as well. And all the other requirements in life that tend to land with us every single day, including figuring out how we're going to feed our families, make lunches, lead our companies, build teams, and deliver the outcomes. It's created tremendous daily anxiety and frankly feelings of, I don't really know if I can do it. Almost 3 out of 4 of us cite burnout as a primary reason. I was struck as I was thinking about what I was going to say today to hopefully motivate you, which I plan to do, is our incredible former healthcare leader pioneer, Dr. Antonia Novella, who was the former general surgeon of the United States under President Bush in 1990. And as I read her words, unfortunately, and I think you'll agree, they're incredibly powerful, but they hit me really hard because unfortunately, she said these in 1990, they still hold true today. She said, as women, we need to think like a man, we need to act like a lady, we need to look a lot younger than we are, and we need to work like a horse. I'm going to repeat that. We need to think like a man, we have to act like a lady, we have to look a lot younger than we are, and we have to, at the end of the day, work like a horse. I feel this every single day, and I'm sure that you do as well, as you try to figure out how to lead and also care for your families. The truth is, the only way we get out of this and get out of it with strength and dignity and all of the great energy that we all share is we bond together. It's the only way. It's the only way is together we all rise. We unify our strength to be in a zone of resiliency, of courage, of fierceness, of forward momentum. We all struggle. We all have really hard things to deal with in life. But you know what? Reach out to one girlfriend that you have and have a conversation, get off the phone and say, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I know that she will be right there to support me as well. We'll get into a whole lot more of this, both on the critical leadership responsibility we each have and also other interactions in the 14 days from now, which I can't wait. But what I'm here to tell you is that not only should we know that we can, but we need to know that we will, and we will together. We owe it to ourselves and each other, and also the amazing trailblazers like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who went before us to lift us up. On that note, I wanted to highlight Elizabeth Blackwell, a name that you may not have heard of for a long time and perhaps never have. But in 1849, yes, 1849, not 1949, but 1849, she applied to go to medical school. The admissions committee thought it was a prank because she was a female. I know I don't have to tell any of you on this call, and especially not the award winners and trailblazers, what she had to have gone through on a daily basis to get back and forth to school with what was said to her, the disrespect, the ridicule, the sideways comments, her sitting in class and having other people or guys say, you know what, you're taking up the seat of a guy that deserves this more than you. We've all heard these comments. I could go on, and the underlying unconscious bias remains in place for all of us even today. It remains for our daughters and for those young women who we owe our strength to push down the bias, the walls, to remove the disrespect. Straight up and straight on. It's about us doing this and making it easier for all. I know when I was earlier in my career, I had senior women who would say to me, it was hard for me, it's going to be hard for you, and almost sit back and look as if they had some enjoyment of the pain that I was going through trying to just make my way. I don't believe in it. I didn't believe in it then, and I don't today. It's up to us to make it easier, and it needs to be easier. Instead, like Elizabeth, where she pushed forward through fire in spite of being exhausted, overwhelmed, and full of anxiety every day, she shattered the status quo. She paved the way for other women who wanted to be doctors like herself. We need to do the same. We need not to be interested. We need to be committed. We need to be committed to each other. And commitment means that you look at each and every single interaction you have every single day to lift a woman up to a new level, to get her a new job, to get her a promotion, to get her a board seat, to open the doors to an investor, an angel investor, private equity, a new entrant into a business to further the forward momentum of her professional career and her business. That is a commitment, not a nice to have. It's not being interested, it's being committed. If you sense a woman is down, reach out to her, lift her up, build her confidence in life as well as leadership. And it starts with us. I last saw there were 237 women on this call, and perhaps a whole lot more if you're in a room together. And I know for one and for all that we can do it. Truly, women need to be at the tables where the big decisions are being made. We give birth to life. And by doing that, we have a completely different biological, intellectual, and emotional wiring than any guy, much as I love the guys too. Our voices bring different outcomes, and we bring outcomes benefiting all. Without entrepreneurs that happen to be women, we will not be able to change it for everyone. And that's exactly what we're responsible to do as leaders. I want to congratulate the 18 amazing recipients and truly thank each of you for taking the strong and courageous steps that you did to pivot your careers, take the risk you have to create a new future for each and all of us. To add respect to each of the award-winning fierce leaders, I want to celebrate each of you and give you perhaps the most respect I can by calling out your name personally. As I do, please think of 5 to 7 individuals that come to your mind of people who have lifted you up through the process of your journey. And I also want you to think of and write down on a Post-it 5 to 7 young women in your neighborhood that are your nieces, that are little girls that need to be motivated, that need to see a future possibility, that need to see where they could be if they just try and work hard and make it happen. And I want you to invite them to the event on the 27th. I want you to show them the possibilities of the amazing women here. I know they're going to feel the energy. They're going to get the courage and the strength, and they're going to feel the community of support that exists. And I know all of us would have loved to have felt the same thing when we were 7, 8, 9 years old. Here we go. Huge congrats to Cindy Bayer, to Susan Schuster, to Kristen Edsel, Melissa Force, Mary Johnson, Deborah Runquist, Caitlin Kelly, Lisa Lavin, Patty Post, Carissa Rollins, Dr. Joko Farah, Gail Tully, Fang Yu, Dr. Diane Cutts, Rebecca Egbert, Cian Falconer, Rachel Lesh, and Teddy Potter. Congratulations, and I'm thrilled and honored to engage with you on the 27th. I plan to bring in a whole lot more than today to that event and believe more than ever that truly together we indeed rise. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julie. That was truly amazing and inspiring for us all. I think what we would love to do is take a few minutes to maybe have a couple questions for Julie. I know there are a couple in the chat box. And while we wait for a couple more to be populated, I just want to say that the energy in the chat box has been amazing. The energy that Julie has brought forward for us and the inspiration just really is absolutely phenomenal. And I know that we all cannot wait to see and hear her at our next event at the forum on the 27th of October. So I think everybody join me in thanking her for that time and that presentation she just shared with us. We know it's just the tip of the iceberg, and we are just so much looking forward to more information from you, Julie. So let's do this. I'm going to start with one question. I see some questions coming in, but I'm going to start with one because you mentioned, the amount of burden, anxiety as women in general, let alone now the time of COVID and the challenges we face today. We have stress on ourselves. What do you do as an individual to care for yourself? How do you stay well as an individual?
Great question. And I think, I'm going to challenge every single person on the room today on this one, but I used to, and still maybe perhaps do sometimes, just run myself to the point that I'm literally exhausted. And I had a really smart mentor say to me along the journey, Julie, if you're not strong, you really can't help everyone else. And the focus needs to be on gaining strength for yourself in order to have the leadership strength for everyone else. And that's a very different way to think about it. I had another person who said, would you want the mother of your son to be this exhausted and to be this worn down and, barely able to get up? No, I wouldn't. And so what I've been very diligent to do is really 3 things. And if any or all of these, I encourage all 3, and I try to do every one of them every day. 1, I work out every day. It can be 20 minutes. It can be a brisk walk. It can be a treadmill, a run. It could be a class at a local gym. But just get 20 minutes in every day. It's gonna change your mind. It's gonna build a strong body, and you're gonna have the strength and confidence to go make stuff happen. Not to mention that some of my very best ideas have happened on a cycle bike to reinvent business. So that's one. The second is get sleep. Get sleep and get nutrients in your body that are clean nutrients. I eat very clean. It's very rare that I put down a French fry or a potato chip. I try to eat very, very clean, and I monitor my sleep every night. I wear like a ring that keeps track of my sleep. It's critical. And between that and the first one, you have to do it. And then the third thing I do is I meditate. And I'm not as good at this, but I try every single morning when I get up for 15 minutes to sit quietly and just meditate, think of gratitude. I also use a tape where, I have someone talking to me to calm my brain down because I have an active brain. But those three things are gonna help you tremendously. And if you're not strong in all aspects, you're not gonna be strong at what you're trying to lead.
Excellent. I think those are all things that we can definitely take home with us, and everybody can personalize those for sure. Think about any advice you would have for our award winners and attendees that are on this webcast today, and what advice you would have for them given all of the challenges we face as women. There's a lot of questions and thoughts that came through related to the challenges we face and the inequities, and how could we deal with those, knowing these inequities in the environment today, knowing that we have these disproportionate burdens on ourselves. What advice do you have for us as women?
Number one is be very, very picky about who you surround yourself with on a daily basis. Number one, you need to surround yourself with the very strength that is your strength or someone even stronger than you. And if you don't, it's a cyclical down here slide. And it's really hard. Every day is really hard. We all get bombarded. We all have comments being made we don't like. I try very hard to try to think ahead of the disrespect that sometimes happens and just try to maneuver away from it. I'm all about energy, meaning that I surround myself with warm, genuine, authentic, solid energy of other people. And the minute you aren't in that environment, where you're in an environment, which I have been, and I didn't think I'd ever get out of, to be quite honest, in a relationship that was anything other than that. It did not take very long before I literally didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in even like waking up and having a smile on my face. And I made it out, but I made it out because I surrounded myself with people who are stronger than I was and gave me sound, sage advice. And it doesn't matter what it is. If you can call someone up on the phone and say, hey, this just happened, can you give me some thoughts on how I might think about it? And just that energy exchange is the very energy that you need to make it happen. And you will feel totally and completely different when you're surrounded by energy that's strong and warm and authentic and good.
Great, thank you. Here's one from the audience around work-life balance. How about suggestions for that? People who have families, they're juggling, working full-time, maybe even now with educating children at home and working from home. So how about work-life balance? How do you manage a fully loaded career and aspirations to grow in that career while needing to make sure that you're balancing family?
Can I have another question, please?
I know it's probably
this
very
is one that
hard,
I've struggled with my whole career. I will be honest. For a lot of reasons, and I look back now on why I worked as much as I did, which was extensive for a solid 15 to 20 years of my career. I was a workaholic. There's no question. I believe now the reason I did it is I think it's the very reason we're here. Is I don't think I had a solid network around me that could give me good sage advice and coaching. And in my unconsciousness and maybe consciousness, I was terrified that I would be in a position where they would look at me across a peer group of guys and say, yes, but.
Yeah.
And I never wanted that. So what do? It's a daily journey. I will tell you, it's a daily journey. One thing I do on Sundays or the weekend is I look ahead at my schedule. And I map out the things I was talking about earlier. So I literally put on my calendar, when am I going to work out? When am I going to meditate? And when am I going to, I call it meal prep. And I cook extensively on the weekends so that I have tons of food in the refrigerator so that my son, when he's doing homeschool, can just go warm something up. Even I cook pizzas ahead of time so that he can put it in the microwave. And you have to pre-plan and prepare. And if you don't, you're going to be massively stressed out. You're going to work too much, et cetera. The other thing I do, and I just started a new position at McKinsey, and McKinsey is not known for light hours, but I'm very diligent to say, I have a son, and my son needs me in the evening, and I need to be with him. And so I am going to work as much as I can early mornings into the 5:30, and then you're not going to see me. And I will give you everything I have, but I have to be a good mother. I have to be attentive and engaged with him, and I am trying very hard to make that happen. But it's a daily, very thoughtful, very proactive pre-planning that you have to do, and it's also communication. You have to communicate to those you work with and just say, I'm going to be offline between this and this time. If you need to get a hold of me and it's an emergency, call me on text, whatever it is. But just give yourself the license and the permission to be a human being and to be a good mother, a good wife, a good whatever. Because let me tell you something, life is short.
Yeah.
Life is short. And we are all here on precious, precious time. And we don't ever want to look back and say, I wish I wouldn't have done that much work.
Yeah, great, thank you. Setting boundaries, I think, is really important. So
yes,
great. So I think one more here, the healthcare industry is, got lots of transformation going on. It's, obviously been happening for a while now. This is your space. You obviously have been engaged in strategic transformations for so, long in terms of your career. Where do you think women can make the biggest impact in this space, given where we are as an industry?
It's a great question. I mean, unfortunately, I have one answer, and it is we have to be at the tables of change. We have to physically be at the biggest tables where the capital is divided up, where the employee priorities are set, the strategic pillars, the lighthouses are aligned, and we have to be vocal. We have to. What that means is the only way we're going to get change is we're going to be sitting on top of the money. And we're already on the money personally. We have 10 trillion that we control right now in the United States. So the only way we're going to make change happen is we're going to have to be at the board seats, and we're going to have to be at the big company seats and at our own seats of CEO, and make sure we surround ourselves with the capital we need to truly what do I always say? If you don't have no cash, no mission. And that's where the decisions get made. And I spent the early part of my career, as we probably all did, being so careful not to be misunderstood or to speaking too much or talking out of turn, or maybe we give that seat to the guys. And you know what? No. When I was 23 years old and I was in New York City working for a very big consulting firm, the largest in the world, I would get to every meeting 15 minutes early and put my massive Toomey backpack right on the seat in the middle of the table. And then I would leave. I'd come back right when the meeting was starting, and I would own my seat at the table. And that's the only way we're going to make change happen. We think differently than men. I mean, I could present an entire presentation on how our brain's wired and how we chemically think different. We have different size components to our brain. We have a large emotional component that we bring to it as a result of all the stuff I talked about earlier. And we see things very, very differently than the guys. And the guys have been my biggest advocates, and sometimes been bigger advocates for me than women have. It's been a very mixed bag in my career, but love them a lot. But at the end of the day, we have a much broader perspective. We have a bigger vision, and the vision includes all of us elevating as opposed to one sect elevating. And that's why we have to be at the table, and we have to be vocal.
Yeah. Do you think as a society, there's any way to change that cultural view of how people perceive, or how, men perceive women at that, juncture, in this way? I think it's a matter of, there's structures that have been built over time, and how do we break down those, kind of systemic challenges for us?
Well, this is a much bigger conversation, but this is why I did Wolf at Best Buy. Now it's almost 17 years ago. Yeah. Before there was any data at all. And I knew intuitively that the only way we're going to make change happen in any kind of a networked organization or society is the guys have to feel it too. They have to feel what we feel. And that's why, and I could go on, but building teams of female consumers and employees and deliberately building them of 10 women and 2 guys every single time. 10 women and 2 guys. And the 2 guys were guys that were in the Good Old Boys Club, and they were highly regarded. And they, for the first time ever, realized that they didn't know if they should say what was on their mind. They didn't know if they fit or they didn't fit. And they had to focus on building relationships with the other women in the group and being their support network. But that was how I rewired that organization and tied it to the capital of innovation and ideas. And it changed the culture. It was not easy. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my leadership journey. And I took a lot of heat, but with an incredible team that I surrounded myself with, of brave and courageous souls, and being very deliberate of the culture that I was in and trying to pull in the threads of the network of the Good Old Boys Club, we truly did change that company from a company of guys to a company where women wanted to work and also buy electronics and services. So the only way we change them is bring them along the journey. They genuinely don't understand it. They have no idea what it's like to walk into a room and feel like they're one of a few as opposed to the dominating force.
Right. Thank you so much, Julie, for sharing your passion, your energy, your inspiration. It is so contagious for us all, and we are so much looking forward.
And it's hard to be excited in my house by myself right now. I wish all of you were right here.
Yeah, we are so much looking forward to seeing you on the 27th. Everybody, let's thank her again for us all, and also thank join us in thanking our award winners. And also I think it's important for us to make sure we continue to rise together in these themes that we're all talking about. I know firsthand how strong this group of women is. I'm speaking of the trust itself. It helps me make a difference for myself, my trust community of friends and colleagues, and most importantly, for all of the countless patients, members, customers, clients relying on me as an individual, as a representative of this complicated and changing industry that we work in to be. And I couldn't do that on my own. And I know that we individually can't do it on our own either. So that is why this theme, Together We Rise, is so important. And I think Julie really did, demonstrate that for us as well throughout her sharing with us. So thank you again, Julie, and congratulations to all of our amazing, amazing award winners. So I have a call to action for all of you that are with us today before we close. I'd like to thank you for joining us today. And I want to invite you to rise to the occasion on a few reminders. One, if you haven't done so already, please remember to join us for the forum. So you can register online. There's tickets still available. They're $25 for members, $35 for non-members. And in addition, if you're a non-member and join the forum, you can get a $35 discount if you join as a member. So join a trust membership. So try and get a discount if you would like to join us as a group. 2, donate to help women and families in need. Now more than ever, they need our help. So through our charity drive and partners, Domestic Abuse Project and Second Harvest of Heartland, the donation links are available on our website, as was mentioned, so whltrust.org. All of that will be available online and sent through links as well. And then please remember to provide your feedback when you see a link come through. We always want to continue to keep improving our programs and learning about what your needs are so that we can continue to make a difference for those of you out there in the community, whether you're a member or not. We want to continue to bring great programming. So with that, we're going to move along to our final slide here and conclude our program. So thank you again to all of our sponsors who really brought this forward for us. We wouldn't be able to do this without our sponsors. Highlighting our awardees is so very important to us in this forum. So we just want to make sure that these organizations get the recognition they deserve as well. We've pivoted this year and they have stuck with us all the way. And so thank you to our sponsors and allowing us to change course and staying with us through that time. We truly couldn't have done it without you. So that is it for our program today, and we hope that you will all join us for the forum on October 27th. Bye.